it's Jada Freeman, and I'm here with a piece of Restorative Justice, and I allow them to introduce themselves.
I'm Nate, I'm a senior.
I'm Shayla, I'm also a senior.
I'm Esteban, I'm also a senior.
Drew, also a senior.
I'm Olay, and I'm also a senior.
We're all basically seniors.
We're all seniors here. Okay, so we are here to talk about a more serious topic. It's a recurring issue within case. It's been happening. Well, I've noticed it's been happening for the last 2 years now, almost 2 years now, and it's discriminatory slurs. So within case, I've been hearing personally that people have been very, 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 they've been saying a lot of offensive words, and they're unaware of the impact it can have on a group of people or just a person. So do you want to share some experience that you have?
Yeah. Well, it's actually this year. It's my senior year, and being here for 4 years at Case, I haven't really heard the word the word faggot a lot or gay until this year. So at the beginning of the year, it was like around September. I was leaving school and walking to my car, and there was these two students waiting, I don't know, for a bus or for their car, and I was walking by, and I just like they said it kind of loud, and they were just like, is he gay? And they kind of said in a way where they were just like, I don't know, I didn't get upset, it just kind of was like, I don't know, like not bring me down.
Shocking.
Just shocking. Okay, let me go home, like I don't want to be here now. It brings back my middle school years of me not wanting to be at my middle school. And then the other time was just me walking in going to the cafeteria to lunch and hearing someone call their friend, a faggot. And it just like hit me again, like, whoa. It didn't make me upset, it just kind of just, whoa.
Yeah, because it was shocking because they were underclassmen, like younger?
Yeah, they're underclassmen, and it just out of my 4 years here at Case High School, I've never until this year kind of heard it,
I've been hearing a lot about that, and it's sad because a lot of it I've been hearing it's our underclassmen, it's the younger people. And they're kind of bringing, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying, I hadn't heard it till last year, this year. I was in a class once, and, me personally, I didn't feel comfortable in the class merely because a lot of people in the classroom were saying, just racial slurs. And I would just I would get upset. Sometimes even, start an argument with the person because, I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't experienced anything like that in my life until then. And I didn't know how to respond, but, I had to adjust to it. And I don't think it's something that you're supposed to get used to, but I kind of just ignored it and pretended the problem wasn't there, but it was. And it was just sad because I just didn't understand, because these people I've been around with for a very long time, for the past 4 years, I've never heard this until now, and it kind of hurt me in a way and kind of made me feel angry because it's this, I would think this is, back then it's 2017, I shouldn't have to deal with this,
Yeah.
And I just didn't know how to respond to it, but I just think I just didn't know how to deal with it. Does anyone else have something to share?
I know last year I was in an English class with a student who felt the need to address his friends as the N-word or an alternative for the N-word, and he was using the hard ER, and I feel as though, there weren't too many students of African American heritage, black people in the class, in the class, and so, for him to say it when it was only so little students of that means that he wasn't fully aware of how that setting in the classroom can affect minorities in there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think that he was, when he didn't see you around, you doing a little bit of code switching possibly?
No, I think he was just, he was saying it towards his friends, so he obviously assumed that it was okay to use these type of words, and he wasn't code switching or anything. He was just
Being him.
I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of kids just use it as joking, or they're playing around with their friends, but they just don't understand that the words that are coming out of their mouth, how it's impacting someone who's passing them, someone who they don't know, or even their friend, and their friend just is afraid to tell them, because some people are like that. And I just think people have to get in their heads that they have to watch what they're saying, because getting into the real world, you have to watch what you're saying. Because this is no longer a middle school type situation where you can say it and be like, oh, what do you mean? I'm joking, it's my friend. It's, but you kind of, you're going to be leaving and going into the real world. You have to watch your words. So.
I've seen a lot of people use slurs and then joking, use these harsh words, and then another person comes in and says it, and then they get offended. But if they're getting offended, other people can easily be as offended. Like the word saying it, anybody saying the word, no matter like what race you are, is still offensive. So I just think like if you're gonna get offended, well, you should think, oh, why am I offended? Like I'm using this word too. If I'm Mexican, I can't say a racial slur, and then feel offended when someone else says it.
But I feel like people do that in general. Like, I feel like people, okay, let's say, Shayla and I are talking and I call her the N-word and then she calls me the N-word and we like joke around with it. But if Nate, for instance, walks in and says that, the whole room's gonna come crashing down. And I kind of feel like, I say the N-word sometimes, not in like, not the hard ER, but like more the friendly, word that people use, And I'm trying to stop saying that because I feel like it's just bringing us down as a people to just continue to do that. And I think that people think, you can't, another race can't say it because the other race used it as a way to oppress us or the other people. So that's why I think people might do that.
Yeah, and it's not just like the racist words. It's also saying like the word you're stupid, and the you're so gay or you're faggot. You also have to watch those words too, because again, it can bring someone down as like saying the N-word or something like that.
Yeah, and then I feel like people just are scared to talk about it. Just these types of things people are afraid to talk about because, like recently in one of my classes, we were talking about race. And, people are kind of afraid to talk about these kind of things really because they think just by saying, how they really feel, it might, people might look at them differently. Or they just won't be accepted into like their friends, or if they hear their true feeling towards this kind of thing. So do you think that, just by talking about it or not talking about it, do you think the problem will just disappear?
Well, it's a touchy subject. Like it's not an easy subject to talk about, but I believe, I see it as a subject that we have to talk about since it's happening so much here at school, in the world, everywhere. I think we just have to talk about it.
Address it. Type of situation. The only thing like I can say is again, just watch what you're saying. Think about in your head before the words are about to come out your mouth. Think about your peers that are walking past you, even if you don't know them.
Yeah, and then as upperclassmen, it's our job. Upperclassmen, as teachers, it's our job to
show underclassmen.
Yeah, set an example for underclassmen. Like we can't use those type of words in front of them because they're just gonna go back and repeat it. And if we tell them that that's not right, and maybe they'll learn from example or, you know, tone it down a bit. I mean, we can't fix all this because it's gonna take a while.
Yeah. It's almost as if like history is repeating itself. Like it's a trend right now. So back then it was like very popular for like the words to be like common for it to be said. And then it died down and now it's coming back again as like the fashion that's going on also. Like that's how this is also.
And I feel like it's time for it to stop. It's time to put it to an end, to stop putting it in and going into a circle. I think it's time to like demolish it and finally say it's not okay to be saying these words in the halls, the classrooms. Yeah.
So, how do you think we can end it?
Classrooms. Starts in the classroom.
Yeah. I think it's time again to talk about them again. Is have teachers remind students again not to say these words and how they can affect students.
And everyone just has to be aware of their surroundings. Like, if you're in a public area, like you shouldn't even be using words, but if you do use them at home, like you can't use them in a public area. At school is a public area, so that just you gotta have a filter on your language when you're in places and who you're around. Let's say I'm over here talking with my buddy Control, and we're talking about what I did last night. And if I was with a teacher, I wouldn't be. I'd be, oh yeah, I did my homework last night. So we just have to have a filter on everything.
I feel like we can't control what people say at home, but we are able to control what they say at school. So we need to find a way that we can't have people say it at school. Maybe consequences.
I think that we should just be aware and we should, you know, try to help out when we see it and, you know, help the problem one step at a time. We can't rush into a situation this serious and then, like, poof, it's gone. So, you know, just take it step by step and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think as upperclassmen, it is our job. You know, we need to educate the underclassmen and let them know that this is not an okay thing. Because we don't want to leave, you know, that behind. We don't want to just leave them here like this. You know, we're gonna graduate, and we want to, you know, show them that we don't want this here when we leave. You know, we want to come back to, you know, respectable people. You know, we want them to grow into, you know, when they become seniors, we want them to be respectable. We want them to be, you know, we want them to be the example for the underclassmen. We want them to be them, you know. So I think we should be trying our best to educate them. I feel like that's all we can do at this point. So I think we need to work on that, guys. Teachers, everyone needs to get out there and just start educating them, you know, just let them know that this is not an okay thing, you know. So I just think that's one thing we can do. So
we just gotta set an example. Set an example.
Get at the same level and go on from there.
Yeah, freshmen, they are little babies. Them are little baby brothers and sisters. So we need to show them the right way. Seniors, everybody, everybody needs to show them.
Like, I mean, we're all family here at Case High School, so I feel, again, like you said, the freshmen are the babies, and we are the older siblings. So it's time for us to step up our game and show our younger brothers and sisters the way.
All right, well, I thank you guys for coming here and talking with me. And because I know you know, some people don't like to talk about this topic, but I'm glad you guys came here to talk.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Bye, Eagles.